Um, there's an old saying you may have heard before. It's, let sleeping dogs lie.
Especially when it's
But
a puppy.
right, yes. So I figure maybe at the end I'll bring him up and show him to everybody.
Okay.
He's been. This is his third day with me, and it's going really well. He's brought a lot of joy. He's like a little bundle of joy,
Yeah, of
and
course.
and it feels really good to be a dad again and
Hmm.
be be deeply in touch with the preciousness of life, and how joyful that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been
A
kind of
lot of joy in a puppy.
that's right, puppy love, and
Yeah.
I've been sort of just blissing out on that, on the preciousness of our
Mm.
bonding, because we're bonding really well, so it's very important.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and being a dad again, it's really getting me deeper in touch with also my generous side. You just feel much more giving, sharing and giving, and that's what realization is about sharing.
Yeah.
Um, I thought I would start with a little bit of a reading from Reb Anderson, probably my main Buddhist teacher, and he wrote a book on the paramitas called Entering the Mind of Buddha. And on the section on generosity, the perfection of giving, the paramitas are the six perfections, and giving is the first one. So it's kind of the main, kind of the foundational core of the paramitas and the foundational core of Buddhist practice, the compassion, of the great compassion offered by the Buddha's realization that all beings together attain the way. So he says, the perfection of giving is wisdom that realizes the interdependence, inseparability, and insubstantiality of giver, receiver, and gift. All three are present in each moment of generosity, whether we see this or not. This means the perfection of generosity is one of the forms of the perfection of wisdom. The sixth paramita, the last paramita, is the perfection of wisdom. So Buddhas and Bodhisattvas practice for the welfare of others. They are not primarily concerned with promoting their own happiness. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are filled with joy to be showing people how they too can be joyful. When we are generous for the welfare of others, we are immediately joyful ourselves. We instantly enter nirvana. If we have not learned to wholeheartedly give and receive for the welfare of others, we will not be able to be at peace and ease ourselves. It might happen that a teacher is happy before the student, even though the teacher is primarily concerned with the student's happiness. We practice generosity because we want to help others learn to practice it. One other saying, I was going to read it, another short one from Thai. In his book, No Death, No Fear, he says, if we are able to touch our ground of no birth and no death, we will have no fear. That is the base of our true happiness. As long as fear is still in you, your happiness cannot be perfect. The Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara has offered us the Heart Sutra. In that sutra, we learn that reality as it is not conditioned by birth, death, coming, going, being, non-being, increasing, decreasing, being defiled, or immaculate. We are full of all these notions, and we suffer because we are caught in these notions. Our true liberation is the liberation from notions. That is the deepest teaching the Buddha offered us. So I've been busy with Bodhi the last few days. I picked him up Saturday, and I was looking around for some other stuff to offer in the talk tonight, and I came on an article I wrote some years ago called "Joy as the Fundamental Condition of Existence." And so I read it and I thought, well, it's kind of the same. I wouldn't really say much different now. And I could just read this instead of trying to labor with creating a talk. Why don't I read this? And so that's what I decided to do. So when it starts with Thich Nhat Hanh quoted from a poem attributed to the Buddha. All formations are impermanent. They are subject to birth and death, but remove the notions of birth and death, and this silence is called great joy. He goes on to say that this is one of the greatest poems ever written, and that it should be put to music, and that the music should be the thundering silence of all notions or all thoughts of birth and death. In this poem is a mixture of the absolute and the relative worlds. When we remove our notions of birth and death, we realize the two have always been one, the silence of great joy. In the relative world, pain and pleasure are opposites because joy is a fundamental attribute of the absolute world where nothing is separate. It has no opposite. Joy cannot be found as an object of our mind, but we know it through our warm feeling of sharing our being with others. Joy arises when we're not preoccupied with other than just resting in the present moment. When we seek joy, grasping and struggling for it, we are simply manifesting a new layer of thinking. Joy is the fundamental condition of existence, life energy that is unaffected by our concepts of what is joyful and what is not. The mystical poet William Blake said, he wrote a little short poem, "He who binds to himself a joy does the winged life destroy. He who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise." So Blake's instructing us to love the joy while it's here, even as it dissolves into something new. If we do not cling to our joy, we can be all the more intimate with it while it's here. We create a formidable barrier to a deep and intimate connection with our experience when we are caught in the fear of losing them. So liberated from this fear, we have the potential to live a truly fulfilling life, to kiss joy as it flies. Living in eternity's sunrise suggests living fully in the moment or in ever-presence. The sun of awareness arises as a unique manifestation while at the same time it is changing into another one. Living without getting caught in anticipation of the next experience is an expression of eternity. Eternity is not an incalculably long time. Eternity is beyond time, without time, timeless. When we can be present without attachment to the past or future, we experience eternity, here now. In pure awareness, there is no past or future if we no longer numb ourselves, compulsively reaching out for something else. Each moment is entirely new. All of our experiences, which are always here and now, are entirely new. That's the teaching of impermanence. Even our sense faculties, our seeing, hearing, feeling, and thinking, are always flashing by, changing at speeds we can't comprehend. The more deeply we allow ourselves to explore the nature of our experience, the more the magical, mystical nature of the world becomes clear. Our continual attempts to grasp various forms of joy can be seen as an aversion to it, to the fundamental joy that we are. Until we know that joy, until we know that joy minus our opinion of it is exactly what is happening, we will only have a stingy amount of it. If we are taking a walk in the park and the weather is not to our liking, even if we normally enjoy walking, we may drain the experience of its joy. A walk in the park is a joy unless we judge it, or we worry about our pace or scold ourselves because our minds are wandering. When we truly open up and accept whatever thoughts or sensations are present by simply staying present with them, without grasping, without turning away, we can realize the boundary of what we can accept is the boundary of our freedom to find and share great joy of being alive. We can realize that deep down we are what we want, and we want what we are. I was with my son Danny. This was maybe 15 years ago, and we were leaving to go visit my sister. And we were driving, trying to find the highway, and somehow I was getting confused. I was a little frustrated. And in the back, he was just having a great time, and he goes, "I'm happy because I'm happy." And I thought that was great. He was probably, 7 years old or something. It's just, he didn't need a reason to be happy. He was just, joy is the fundamental condition of, he was always a joyful kid. So we are meant to deal with suffering in our practice. It's not that the suffering is important or valuable in itself, but that suffering is our teacher. Suffering is the other side of life, and until we can embrace all of life, we will not know all of real joy. A benefit of traditional Zen practice is that we have a chance to face our grief and pains and losses. Whatever positive concepts we have of ourselves are put to the test in long retreats when almost all of us suffer from pain and fatigue. We learn we can come face to face with our agony and still go on. If we can embody our experience regardless of what it is, we can connect with the whole of life. To become our experience is to become our wholeness, our innate wholeness. And we first need to observe how we constantly attempt to separate ourselves from it. Thus we lose touch with the raw, spontaneous sensation that is the mark of our original nature. We could name this basic nature joy, and joy manifests when we become present with the circumstances of our lives, without adding or subtracting anything. Whatever we face, our circumstances are nothing more than forms, thoughts, sensations, and sounds produced by the joyful presence that we are. Knowing we are not separate from this presence, not separate from our experience, is enlightenment. Through practice, we begin to see how we perpetuate our pain and cut ourselves off from the awareness of fundamental joy. So we learn through practice to receive the infinite compassion of the Buddha, which is the compassion of our original nature. And we learn to feel deeply the joy of sharing that freedom and love with all beings. He's still sleeping, so I'll wait.
It was funny. Alfie came to me while you were talking.
He did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I was petting him. You couldn't see that, but
Yeah.
I was giving him a good rub down. I think he knows that Bodhi is with us, but don't wake him up, Roger.
I won't.
Thank you for your reading. So we can talk about anything. What do we need to talk about today? Kat?
Yeah, I have a question or sort of an observation for you all, which is that I actually don't have a lot of issues feeling joy myself. My biggest obstacle to joy is my attachment to the need for my loved ones to be okay or to feel joy. And so I don't know if you all have anything to say to that.
You know, there's.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Judy.
go ahead, Roger.
Well, I was going to say, I've had a lot of pain around that issue also with two of my siblings. I've kind of moved past it because they both committed suicide when they were around 60 years old. And it's been 9 years since my sister and 13 years since my brother committed suicide. And, you know, it was like, as much as I felt for them, I realized that my resistance to the pain didn't help their pain. It was more like if I could offer peace and love and not, you know, engage with the pain that it caused me and be grateful that it was teaching me without trying to grasp it or trying to control it, or you know, that somehow I was able to communicate some of that peace there. It didn't, you know, it wasn't deep enough to turn their life around, but it felt genuine, and it felt like it was a joy to them, just to, you know, that I could offer that for them. And it was definitely a joy for me. I think I was able to offer more peace and nurturing than if I was caught up in wondering what I could do to control their pain. You know? That's what comes up for me. Yeah.
It's helpful. Thank you for sharing that.
So, when my friend's mother was dying, she asked me to spend some time with her mother. And the biggest concern she had was for her children. How are they going to, you know, be without me all these years of mothering? And the thing is, it's just as much as it's your path to take the teaching that this illness is giving you, it's their path, Gary and Luca's path, to find the teaching in it for themselves. And so basically, we're powerless, aren't we, over these things? There's no fixing. But if we could just open up enough to realize that we're already where we want to be, you know, it's a tricky business. But I think just recognizing and accepting the fact that this is their path, you have your path. We come in alone and we go out alone.
Yeah, that's really helpful, Judith. And I feel like you guys are kind of saying the same thing in a way, which is that, you know, they have each person has their own path, and you can just try and bring your joy and love and peace into the space, and then that's all you can really do. The control is not yours.
Mm-hmm.
But it helps me when I worry about my daughters, you know. It helps me to think, well, it's their path, you know, it's their lives. We're not the same people, even though we are, you know. Yeah. I understand your concern.
Yeah, I have a very anxious child, and my illness has made him anxious, you know, so, but, you know, if it weren't that, it might be something else, you know.
Right.
Who knows? But that's really helpful. Thank you both for sharing that.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else on coping with the big stuff?
I had, I guess one thing that occurred to me this week in experience was stop fighting. Just accept what is and surrender to it and embrace it, because it's all it is. Whether it's pain or joy, you know, pleasure or sorrow, you know, acceptance, surrender, and embrace it. Those three ideas came from three separate people, and they all came together just a few days ago. Lifted me way up. You know, of course, I want to stay way up, but you know, there's always a way down. You know, and you know, I've done all the things that I can do. Medicine, religion, psychiatry, you know, and this is just life. That's all.
Thank you, Timothy.
Yeah. One other thing, just briefly, that came up as Timothy was talking also is that those three things that you mentioned, you know, accept, embrace, and all, it helped me to realize with my siblings that their suffering and my suffering is calling for compassion. And what I tried to convey to them is, you know, have compassion for the part of you that doesn't feel compassion. You know, that your suffering is calling for compassion, and there is going to be an answer. We're all going to be Buddhas, and somehow we can't see why we have to go through these horrible experiences. But somehow there's the deepest suffering I've had, there's a point where it kind of flips in, where it's not my suffering, it's the suffering of all beings together. And I think Buddha's great enlightenment had something to do with that, involved that somehow when we realize we are all dying together, that great compassion somehow comes. I don't know how, but it seems to be there.
It helps me a lot when I think we're just little ants on this anthill that's hurling through space and in this vast cosmos. Oh my goodness, beyond anything that we can even imagine. And so the importance of everything drops considerably when I think of it that way. A friend of mine used to call it the speck in the universe theory.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you want to talk, Georgina?
I think I heard another voice there.
Did you want to say something?
I was asking you if you wanted to talk, if you wanted to say something, because you're unmuted.
Oh, are you me?
Yeah, you.
Oh. I was just thinking how for me, I struggle. I remember with my dad when he was dying, because I was just concerned about he, wanted him to be at peace and all that. And then he had people there, hospice people, and which I was very appreciative about. But one night, someone had the TV on, was kind of, sort of semi-coma or whatever. And it was kind of challenging because, I felt concerned because I didn't want that sounds to kind of interfere with his peace and then the other person trying to have something to do or to whatever to pass the time. So it was kind of really challenging, and yeah, but all in all, I just wish I had not tried to control the situation as much with my dad, because he there's not a whole lot I could have changed at the end. And I guess before he was at the end, I wanted him to kind of learn to meditate and to sort of like, I don't know, because I I'm just hoping that he would kind of gain some peace. I just felt like he was kind of struggling, not letting go. He just didn't want to go, and I don't know. It was kind of challenging. But I think at the end, I wasn't there when it finally happened, because I mean, it took him a while. The process took a while, and it was, he was like ready to go, and then a cousin of mine, he was in a coma, and a cousin of mine walked in on the front door, and she was really loud, and she called his name. It was like, "Uncle, whatever, where are you?" Just really loud, just really loud. And he, from what I hear, he sort of woke up, So he just was bad for like 10 more days or something. He came out of that coma after she came in. She came in and sort of woke him up. It's really funny and all that, but I also was told that at the end he he was in a, he was kind of in and out, and the nurse that was there, she kind of, she lay down with him, and I guess he must have had these loving feelings that, because he had been in a coma, so it's it's like who knows where how, what he experienced and all that. We can just assume. And this nurse was amazing. That she was she was she hugged him and all that, and it was very touching. When I heard about it.
Georgina, we're out of time, and I wanted to give Mary a chance to share.
Yeah.
Since this is her first time here.
Oh God, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. The things I've heard really resonated with me. Judith knows me well, and I lost a sister to suicide, and it really drove a wedge between me and my other sister. I think we just couldn't cope with it, and I developed chronic fatigue syndrome and have been really sick ever since. It's been about 12 years now. But just I just heard the phrase that this is your life.
Yeah.
This is it. And when I can accept that, and I'm getting better at it, Judith. It's so much easier. And my sister and I are coming together with great compassion, I think for the first time in our lives. So this whole experience tonight has just meant the world to me and has really reinforced that I'm on the right path.
Mary, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so Norma has a bell, and she's going to do the ending chant for this evening.
Thank you for a beautiful evening. I'm really touched. And Bodhi is adorable. He brought his smile.
Oh, yeah.
He's adorable. He's big.
I can wake him up now. Come on, Bodhi. Hey, Bodhi. Oh, boy. He's so heavy. He's 20. He was 25 pounds, 25 and a half, and he's probably 28 now, 3 days later.
It's gonna be big.
There he
Oh
is.
my God.
Ah, look at the size
so
of that
sweet.
puppy.
Yeah, he's a big
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, dude, oh my gosh, you're so cute.
He really is. Yeah, he's so sweet. Okay.
Aw, what a
He's
sweet
12
little
weeks old
face.
today.
Aw, a big deal. It's like giving birth, isn't it, Roger?
There's not a real dad over
It
there
is.
for sure, Roger.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
May the merit of this practice benefit all beings and bring peace.
Oh my God, I love you guys so much.
Love you. Have a great week.
Beautiful tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mary, I'm
Thank
so glad
you.
you made it.
Me too. It's wonderful.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.